Hey everybody, this is Marcus de Maria here in our London trading rooms together with one of our graduates who came on the workshop 2 years ago, and we thought we would interview him to see how he's doing, keeping us updated. See, one of the things that we like to do with Investment Mastery is not just do a workshop and then goodbye, but to support you all along the way. So it's been about 2.5 years later, so let me introduce to you the graduate who, by the way, is now, through his successes, one of our coaches and one of our traders. It is, of course, Dennis Sahlström from Sweden.
Thank you, Marcus.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and it's always good to see you because we love to work with people who have the right attitude, and you have this real attitude of like wanting to help as many people as possible. And that's why he is actually going to be one of the trainers on our 2-day workshop, which is coming up this weekend. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Do you remember, the Stocks Advanced workshop was awesome that we did together. And by the way, just on that, we got, I don't know whether you know, do you know what we got out of 10?
Yeah, was it 9.4 or something like that?
9.4 out of 10. So, I mean, you know, I would never give it 10. And I'm sure there's other people. But all in all, with all the people that were there, how many people were there? About 22. Yeah, a nice small group, computer each, etc. You know, they gave us an average score of 9.4 out of 10. So I'm really happy. But we can do better than that next time. Absolutely. I don't know what we need to do. Because I wouldn't give 10. I just, you know, because that's perfection. And there's always, you know, but anyway. So, good job. So, you came on the workshop, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, around 2 years ago.
Okay.
And, you know, it felt like yesterday. And now I can't really believe that I'm a trainer now and I can help people just like you helped me back then.
Yeah, awesome.
So
and you know, I'd love for you to share with people like your journey. Was it easy? Was it not easy? What difficulties did you have? How did you get over them, etc.? That would be really cool if you could do that.
Yeah, of course. So what I want to say is really that everything can be hard, and it's challenging. I would say. I wouldn't say it's hard because I think everyone, because I'm not smarter than an average in that sense.
You're not.
Right. So, but I put the work in, right? So I know what I want, and I go for it. And the only thing that really, I think, what really made me successful was that I kept going. I listened. Yeah. I followed the strategies that you taught me, because. Like when you're driving a car, you take driving lessons from someone who knows how to drive a car. And I took trading lessons from someone who knew how to trade. And I followed the simple, he told me do this and this, remember the risk management, and that's what I did. It's
a really interesting analogy because it's one that I like. And we used to have at Investment Mastery, we used to give people, these L plates afterwards, and then they would turn it up. And then we would hand out these P, because they've just passed their driving test. And the only reason I always say is that everybody expects to pass their driving test. So why? Because everybody's driving, so you just expect to, right? So my girls at the moment, they're learning how to ride a bike, but they think they can't do it. Well, I know they can. And they're looking around saying they're seeing other girls do it as well, so it must be possible. So they will learn it. So why do you think it's different? Why are there people out there that think you can't make money in the stock market? Why? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just got to learn it.
Yeah, just to learn.
And practice, right?
Yeah.
Until you get it.
Exactly.
And just like driving cars, some people pass. Did you pass first time when you?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe you are quite intelligent.
See, I work really hard. It's
I almost ran over an old woman while I was yeah. But she was behind me.
Bonus points.
Bonus points.
Bonus points. So maybe that's why I passed.
Oh, okay, you ran over lots of people. So even if you fail the first time, which I did, you can just take it again until And obviously now I'm an amazing driver. Yeah. But my wife doesn't necessarily think so. But yeah. Armchair critic. Anyway, so what is it that you had to overcome? Were there any obstacles?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had, these limiting beliefs that it's not possible to be consistently profitable. Like if the so-called professionals, which we now know, because there's a lot of benefits of being just a retail trader, like you and me. Mm-hmm. And my limiting beliefs was really, you can't beat them and you can't be consistently making profits. But then I realized it's all about confidence, because when I saw myself really doing this, and everything makes sense. Like if I can lose 7 out of 10 trades and still make money, it makes sense. Because you have all, the benefits on your side.
Mm-hmm. Because the small losses and the big gains, right?
Exactly.
And it's interesting what you say. Like, do you still believe that you're trading against somebody? Do you still have that belief now?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's interesting, because I actually think, it's the opposite. What we're actually doing is we're riding the coattails of those big institutions. So as we see it coming down, or the selling is going, and then we see it start turning, that's when we start getting in. So I'm not trying to compete with them, buying, selling 10 million times a day, like an algorithmic trader. I just want the big swings, the big, 10%, 20%. That's, you don't have to do anything. That's why it's 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Now, so what else did you have to do in order, be really honest? Was there anything?
Yeah, I thought it was tricky in the beginning because you have your life going on all around you. So it's tricky to really put the time in because it's not all the time you feel like doing it.
Okay, did you start doing it 20 minutes, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening?
Yeah,
that's not a good.
I didn't. It's not a good idea.
Exactly.
A good idea. So what really, what I understood as moving forward is to get the habit of doing it, the same time every day.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, then you program yourself that okay, I'm just gonna do it, and then what I realized when you start doing it for 20 minutes, that's when you get the motivation to keep going. And then I always had, I always had, I'm gonna make this work. I had long-term targets. So I set goals, and that's when I set the goals down, because it is tricky. If you don't know where you're going, it's difficult to go there, It's like when you're driving, and you wouldn't have a map, where will you go? It's you don't have a destination.
You can tell he's starting to become one of our trainers now. He's like in training mode, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
if you have
so
a map
true.
and then, like that.
Yeah.
But I guess we should tell people your results, because otherwise, why are they even listening to you?
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe I should have done that at the beginning.
Maybe. Yeah.
So what have your results been over the last, because we're aiming for 3 to 6%, that's what we're kind of aiming for. A month, not a year, a month. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with the strategies that you taught me, I've been averaging 4.3%.
4.3?
Yeah, a month.
Mm-hmm.
And
you told me 4.53.
Yes, 4.5.
Well, I don't mind. 4.3 is fine. I mean, it's still good, right?
Yeah, it is 4.53.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So 4.53 a month for 2 years.
Yes. That's correct.
If I were listening to that, and I'm sure there's some people here, they would say, what a load of rubbish. Prove it. Because when we were, we had a 5-day crypto retreat with some of our crypto members, and I think you did it on the last workshop as well. You basically showed your results, and it was really interesting. First of all, congratulations, right?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Because you need to celebrate these things. It can't be like, whatever, like this. You need to celebrate them because we believe, as my mentor T. Harv Eker says, success breeds more success. And because I'm looking forward to you making more than that. And by the way, you are making more than that, yes. Right? You are. You're just talking about the specific strategies that I taught you. You're now using those strategies in a slightly different way, which we still need to discuss, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny because I started my career back in 1999 with penny stocks, but not in the way you did. In the way you did is you learned from me, and now you're using it on penny stocks and making huge returns. What I did is I didn't know, so I subscribed to something called Red Hot Penny Shares or something, I can't even remember the name, and I just lost money because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a strategy. All I did was follow. That's what a lot of people do. They just follow somebody else. They don't really know what they're doing, And that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, it's just crazy. So 4.53% over the last. Now, what would you say to somebody here who would be saying, that you can't? Because when I first started, I didn't believe it either.
Well, that makes two of us,
right? Yeah.
And a lot more. But what I would say is that it definitely is possible, and everything becomes so logical. But what most people don't have is risk management.
Yeah.
When you can lose 7 out of 10 trades and still make those 4.53% a month, then you see that that could actually work, because you could be wrong 70% of the time, because we don't know where the market. I don't know where the market is going to go, but I know, and you can calculate that as well. When you do 100, 200, 300 trades, you will see your average. And you do the calculations, just like you do with anything. If you go to the gym and work out, you will see the results as well.
Yeah.
But no, not directly.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's the compounding effect, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that to someone new, just think about that. You can lose 7 out of 10 trades and still make money.
And what's interesting, you're making 4.53% a month, but on a larger amount of money every month because he's compounding it up.
Yeah.
So the money, have you started seeing the compounding effect?
Yeah, I have.
It's pretty wild, right?
It's pretty
It's
wild.
like, where does this money come from? You keep going, you will see some. I mean, you already are seeing the compounding effect, but I don't know how much you trade with. So, but once you start, you are doing it now.
Yeah.
But this is like, yeah. But once you start going, I mean, it's just. I mean, I really don't know. You could be doing it with millions. I have no idea. But so, what would you say to people who would say, yeah, well, you have one person, but the majority of people, they say that 95% of people who trade and invest in the stock market lose money.
Yeah.
What would you say about that?
Yeah, I would say yes, I totally agree. Because people don't have financial education, and I think that should be a part of the curriculum in school even. But no, that you don't learn that, and 95% of the people don't learn financial education, how to do things. Just as you're going and take driving lessons, you should having financial education from someone who knows what they're doing.
So you're saying the 95% are just people who have heard about it, chuck some money into some broker account, normally spread betting because it's tax-free.
Yeah, and they get leverage.
Leverage, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they use it,
Yeah.
right? But they haven't got a clue. I mean, they don't know the 4 elements. In other words, where to invest. Secondly, where to get in, and then when to get out. You should do that beforehand. They have no idea.
Yeah.
They don't know about risk management, and it's just. It doesn't surprise me that 95% lose money if they don't know what they're doing. But I mean, I hate to say this, but it's kind of good. It's because we know what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's a good lesson for people to learn. And there are some people in the city that say the entire stock market is just about getting the money in somebody's pocket into their pocket. Now, I don't like to think of it that way. I just like to think of it that we know how to make money in the stock market, and we're riding the coattails of the big boys.
Yeah, and I also want to say that I'm not I like trading because I know what it can do for my life, but I'm not a trader in that sense. I don't spend 8 hours a day.
But how long do you spend? Because I think it's important, because I say 20 minutes and then I kind of say, 21, okay, but 22, so I would set an alarm. I mean, obviously, if you're enjoying yourself, go for it. But do you really, how long do you, honestly, be honest, how long do you really spend a day?
So on, for example, the Buffalo strategy, I would say I spend maybe around 10 minutes a day.
Okay, and on the BCA strategy?
Oh, it's less than maybe...
There's nothing to do.
No, there's nothing to do. 20 minutes every other week, maybe.
So you spend less than 20 minutes a day?
Now I do, but yes, in the beginning, I spent a little bit more.
Right, and I guess that's important as well, because when you're starting off, it might take just a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have weekly calls, right? So we have the weekly, that's an hour.
Yeah, we keep them accountable.
But you're now thinking from our point of view, as in helping people. But when you first started, that was an hour a week that you had to be on the calls. But the way I look at it is, I would have 2 screens. How much does it cost to buy an extra screen? £50, £60, or whatever, you plug it in. And then while you're listening to the webinar, when we're going through all the stocks that we're looking at, where the lines are, where to get in, when to get out, and when to get out the profit, it's just to place those trades. I mean, why waste time?
And what I did, why waste time? And what I thought was, well, if I look by myself, I need to put in a lot of work to look at all the stocks, but there's 200 people on the webinar. So if
there's 200 people on the webinar?
Yeah, there are 200 people on and I mean, if, and everybody shares what they have found. So after
but they don't, though, do they?
Yeah,
all 200?
Not all 200, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, because there's always the new wave of people that are just like, they're watching, they're listening, and they don't dare yet ask questions, I guess, some of them. Yeah. And then there's the people that are a little bit more intermediate. And the way I look at it is, it's like the new people, they're being helped right now. Yeah. But if everybody was just to wait to be helped, we wouldn't have a club. I mean, the whole idea of the club is that, if you learn that the intermediates are helping you, then when you become an intermediate, hopefully you will be doing the same, and that is the idea of the club.
And that's so beautiful, because you create a community, and everybody helps one another. So instead of me finding my own tickers, well, everybody shares what they find.
Absolutely.
And we all benefit from it together. So
and also you benefit on seeing what does work and what doesn't, because when we teach, a lot of people don't know this, but you have to teach people what works. But you also have to teach people what doesn't work. And you go, well, why would I teach people that? Because then you know what to look out for not to do. And so when somebody says, well, I think this, they might not be right, and that's fine. Then we have that discussion, go, well, not really, because do you remember we taught you, oh, yeah, and that's a great learning as well, so it's all good. So it just struck me that you said that's what's so beautiful, you know. Most people probably wouldn't equate trading and investing to, you know, beautiful and, you know, but I think what we do at Investment Mastery is keeping our groups small with computers each, and practice, and then the follow-up support being part of it all. It kind of is. We've been doing this right from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think you know, that's so brilliant, because when I first started as well, you know, I read a lot of books, and it's very lonely to do trading when you know, starting out. But
Totally.
when you have a community, well, now we have a lot of other people discussing the same things. It becomes a little bit more fun.
And they come up with new ideas. So what you're doing right now with the small cap stocks, you know, is I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, it's just amazing. But you have to learn the basics first. You know, and when I say basics, I don't mean, you know, the foundation. It's because once that foundation is big and you know about risk management, you know how to trade and invest, you can build a tall and wide structure. But what most people do, I guess, they don't have a clue, and then they go from seminar to seminar, but they don't really do anything. Yeah. And then once you have that foundation, you can actually, I mean, you now trade cryptocurrencies as well, right?
Absolutely.
And why, I'm guessing, is because you know how to trade and invest. So it's like, if something new came along, well, you could do that as well.
Yeah, once you know the foundation and you know how to drive, well, then you can drive any car.
Oh, that's true. What about, do you do things like oil, silver, gold? Do you do sectors? Industries, ETFs, cryptos, buy and hold, and trading. Yeah, so you just do everything, which is absolutely fantastic.
Except for Forex.
I was about to say, so you haven't done Forex yet?
I haven't done Forex.
Do you want to do Forex?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we have a course on Forex.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But you know, I mean, one of our very successful graduates in Germany, Otis, he's just published a book as well about it. He is also one of our coaches, and you know, he makes his whatever 3% or whatever it is a month, and I can't get him to do anything else because he says, well, why would I? It's only 20 minutes. Why would I need more than that? And I think, yeah, why? Anyway, it's a philosophical thing about, you know, why do we have a culture where we always have to do more and more and more and more and more? Why is that? Because all we do is put stress upon ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do more than, what did you say, 4.53%? Why?
Well, no, I'm happy with the 4. No, I would be happy with doing the 4.53%.
But you're not, because you're not doing the small cap stocks.
Yeah, but I'm about growth. So I feel, so that's the thing. So I think you can be happy with what you get, of course, but I think it's when we grow, you know, that we feel happy with ourselves, and that we feel like, we feel fulfilled, right? So, but if I would stop, because I don't really want to, maybe I need to learn Forex to make more money. Maybe it is so if I can, you know, grow and see other opportunities and see what's out there. So I think that's what is more for me.
And also thinking about what you just said, actually, if you in 20 minutes a day could do a slightly different strategy, or something that you have used our strategies and you've changed them slightly, and which by the way we want people to do. The idea is to follow the recipe and not change anything, but then after 3 or 4 months you start adding little sultanas and little bits of amaretto or whatever it is that you want. Because if you could spend 10 to 20 minutes doing the small caps and get more results, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
exactly.
Why wouldn't you? We've got to start teaching people that in the more advanced sections. Did you covered it in the advanced, right?
A little bit.
A little bit.
But we can do more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm sure we could talk for a long time. But by the way, if you have any questions for Dennis, please do leave any questions below. In order, as in not up there, below. In order that he can answer them for you. Because I think, I remember when I first started. I mean, that's why we do Investment Mastery, because I remember when we first started. It was just like I was running from seminar to seminar, 500 people, 200 people, 500 people. Seriously, well, we got a workbook, but there was no practice. There was like the amount of practice we got was drawing the lines in the workbook. That took about 5 minutes. So that's why we started this, or one of the reasons at least that we started this. The other reason is I didn't want to take money out of my trading account, because otherwise it doesn't compound up, right? And so we started teaching people, friends, family, etc., just to get a little bit of revenue in, and then it miraculously kind of turned into a business. But with people like you, that makes it worthwhile, because we talked about fulfillment. And for me, everyone's different. For me, part of that is, yes, me growing, but part of that is watching other people grow. I have no idea why. Why is that?
Yeah, but I think it's everyone wants to belong somewhere. I think because I think everybody wants to have, you know, a place where they belong somehow. And when we can be there and see other people grow in that area as well. And I had a coaching call this other day, and he said that, you know what, I've been trading for 4 years, and now this is the first time I've had 5 consecutive months of profits.
Wow.
The first time, right? So and that's really made me super happy as well. So
I don't even know about these things.
Yeah, and what's really draw me to you. And that's why I'm a coach here as well now. And I work with you guys because you really want to help people, like me and like everyone else. And that's what I want to do too. Because it is in this in this business when it is trading and investing, people think that they have to do everything themselves. And there are a lot of scams out there. To be honest, there are.
Okay, so let me tell you. I know you're on you're saying something, but so Eamon came in the other day, and somebody called up, and she's not a client of ours yet, but she said that so she's with a broker, and she put in 10,000, and they're trading the money for her, and she's already lost 3,000, and guess what they're saying now?
Put in more money.
Put in more money, otherwise you'll lose the rest, right? So you see where this is heading, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be, and the way they're making their money is through the churning. Churning means buying, selling, and so the broker gets paid. Well, they are a broker, so they get 100% of the profits. But also what they do, what a lot of people don't know, there's an A book and a B book. Now this is a little bit disgusting, but basically what happens is when they know that you are they'll watch you. If you're a losing trader, what they'll then do is they'll put you onto the B books. If you're a winning trader like you'd be on the A books, because why? Well, let me explain it first. So the B book, they'll do the opposite to you, because they know you're going to lose over time, right? So if you lose and you're buying, well then, if I were to do that, which I would never do, but if I were them, well, I would never do it. But they would then sell short. They do the opposite because they know you're going to lose. And so what happens is that while that person loses 10,000, they're gaining 10,000, and they're doing the trades for her, making the losses, and so therefore they're making money on the spread on the broker fees. I mean,
it's
that's absolutely
disgusting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So okay, well let's leave it there. We'll have another session a little bit later, and again I'll ask people to leave any comments below. Maybe there's some questions that I could ask that I've just forgotten to ask. There must be 10 million questions that we could ask you, but I think we want to take advantage of you being in our trading rooms, which by the way, people can come in and trade with us as well, and learn from people like Dennis by sitting next to him. I mean, can you imagine? I should maybe talk to them, not you. Can you imagine sitting next to Dennis and kind of like, well, what are you doing there? Well, this is what I always do. And go, well, I don't know about this, and that's how you learn. This isn't rocket science.
No, but you have to learn. Yeah. Everything is difficult in the beginning, and
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to learn.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, and we look forward to another fireside chat. Is that what we're calling this? The fire. We should have a fire in the background.
Yeah, fire.
Fireside chat with Marcus de Maria.